or give you guidance as to where that help may be found. Information is the key, and the trained staff at AHC is here to assist. If you wish, you can also get more information on the website located at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And welcome, folks. Yes, your ears do not deceive you. We are here live in America's Web Radio, in the studios of America's Web Radio, coming to you live. We will not take Christmas Eve off. We are all too happy to be here. In fact, I couldn't wait to get in. You know, I look forward every week to come talk to you guys. So thanks for listening, and Merry Christmas. Here we are on Christmas Eve, 2019. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. This year, I mean, where has it gone? It's going by so fast, folks. And look, you know, speaking of 2019 coming to a close, and Christmas here, Christmas Eve is upon us. You're going to have family over. You're going to be visiting family. You might be with friends and family. Look, time goes by very fast, and the time of your life, or let's say the days you spend, the older you get, age, time itself. Let me put it this way: time itself does not care if you're a Democrat or a Republican or a Libertarian or an Independent or a Socialist or whatever you call yourself or identify with. And I really wish, you know, and I hope the more you guys listen to me, you'll stop identifying yourself as a letter, and really identify yourself on policy. But this, my Christmas message to you right now, as you engage with family and friends, don't let negativity bring you down. Don't get dragged into arguments over Donald Trump's tweets. Don't get bogged down into arguments of, oh, Donald Trump's a bad man. Just don't do it. Resist it. Take the higher road. You know, liberals always love to talk about how they're so compassionate and they're so woke and they're just academically so intelligent. And so they think, or they try to convince you that they take the high road, which we all know it's not true. And you can prove it. You can prove it over these holidays by you yourself taking the high road, because you will drive your liberal family member crazy, because they're going to want to argue with you. They're going to want to fight with you. They're going to want to argue with you. They're going to want to convince you that Trump just, since he can't walk on water, what a bad guy he is. And so my point here is, on the On Point with Victor show, by the way, is just be nice. You know, you can have debates and talk, but if you're going to have the debate, make sure you stick to policy. Stick to policy and talk about let me tell you something. Let me give you a list of what you have to talk about. Let me give you a list of what you have to be positive about. The lowest black unemployment in history, the lowest Hispanic unemployment in history, one of the, if not the highest labor participation rate the United States has ever seen. Folks, that means there are more people working today. So you've got more black people working. You've got more Hispanics working. You've got more Americans in general. And look, I like to look at things as just we, the people, we, the American, the family that is America is working strong today. The only reason I point out the black unemployment and the Hispanic unemployment is because liberals can't do anything without putting you in a group. Liberals and Democrats and the socialists can't do anything without breaking you up into a group. So since they like to do that, I like to continually point out that we are 3 years into this new administration, and in 3 years, we have achieved the lowest unemployment across the board for blacks, for Hispanics, for Asians, for women, you know, all these subgroups that the Democrats try and constantly convince that they are victims. They're all doing well. They're all doing great. And these are the positive things. So when you're at Christmas dinners and get-togethers and parties for the next few days, stay positive. Don't get dragged down into negativity. Look, negativity breeds. It really does. It's hard to be positive, But I promise, if you just go through the next few days with positive things, if they come at you with Donald Trump's tweets and Donald Trump said this and Donald Trump's not good this and he's not a good guy this and Orange Man bad, just go back to them with policies. Go back at them with, well, here's what I do know. I didn't elect my pastor. I didn't elect my preacher. I didn't elect a guy to be my father figure. I elected a businessman to run this country and get us out of a hole. And that's when you can cite lowest unemployment across the board, highest participation rate. There are more Americans working. How can a party in this country go around and try and convince people that we need to stop what's happening in its tracks right now and reverse by electing a socialist Democrat? Basically, you would have to be against full employment. Full employment. You would have to be against the highest participation labor this country has seen, or one of the highest. So when you've got a record number of people working in this country, Americans making a living, Americans being able to take care of their families, you're going to have to want to put that to a stop if you want to go for Socialist Warren, Socialist Sanders, Socialist Buttigieg, or any of these other candidates, and Biden, Hillary. So you're going to have to want to stop this economy. And right now, I don't care what your little sub-issue is, because the economy is number one and should be number one. Because without a successful economy, you can't take care of yourself. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your family. If you can't take care of your family, you can't help your friends. And if you can't help your friends, you can't help a neighbor. If you can't do any of those things, what does it matter, all the little subgroups and all the little sub-problems and issues that the government tries to create to get you to focus on? So that's what I want you to think about for this Christmas Eve. I want you to stay positive. There are plenty of positive things to talk about. Folks, we are on the cusp of phase one of a China deal. I cannot tell you how far back you can go with Obama, with Clinton, with both Bushes, who could not, would not, and did not try and bring China, put a check on China, didn't bring them to the table. They just kept letting them steal from us, steal intellectual property. They robbed the United States blind. And now we have a president who came in there and said, look, I'm not a politician. There will be no kicking of the can down the road. I'm going to fix this problem. I'm going to bring China to the table. So we are on the cusp of a phase one China deal. There are so many positive things to talk about. So you don't have to focus on Orange Man bad or Trump's tweets. Just focus on the policy. And if the establishment Republicans would get off their arses and really get behind, if we could get rid of the Romneys and some of these Ben Sass and these other establishment Republicans that are look, folks, when the politicians of the swamp hold Trump back, or when they go against Trump, they're going against you, the American people. When the politicians of the swamp want to put their power ahead of your economic freedom, they're going against us, we the people. And if you didn't vote for Trump, they're out for you even more. Because they're fooling you. You're complicit in your own demise if you support today's Democrats. So I know I got off to a fast start here, folks, but I really just I want you to think in positive terms and don't get dragged down in the next few days over at Christmas time with negativity. Christmas is such an important time, and remember the true meaning of Christmas while you're at it. Remember why we have Christmas. It's not all Santa Claus. It's not all shopping. There is a real meaning behind Christmas, and that act of giving that comes from the real meaning of Christmas, that act of taking care of your neighbor, taking care of your friends, or helping your friends, helping a neighbor, that act comes from the true meaning of Christmas. So just think about that and try to remain positive, because there's going to be some really evil forces at work. There's going to be people who want to bring you down. There's going to be people that are going to try to corner you. And boy, if they can get 2 or 3 people on their side, they're going to try to argue with you. And folks, listen, it happens to me almost on a daily basis. I will, just using Facebook as an example, I will try to use Facebook as an avenue to get people to think and think outside of their bubble. But every time I usually engage with some people on the left, and it's not every time, but a lot of times, they respond with either attacking me or making fun of me or being very condescending to me. They don't want to have a discussion because you know how it is. When you can't argue logic, you're just going to start name calling or you're going to use talking points. And so it's out there, folks. And I do, I'm not making a mistake when I say there's evil out there, because I believe that evil is playing a part out there. I really do. Now, I'm not saying your Democrat family members or your Democrat friends, they're not evil. They're not all evil. I'm not saying that, so don't misunderstand me. Don't flood my emails with, why are you calling my brother an evil person, or my sister or my mother or my father? I'm not doing that. I'm just saying there is evil in the world, and it is trying to take hold. But as far as Christmas time, let's remain positive if you can. So, all right, folks. So I know I started in that pretty quickly, and let me do a couple of things here. This is America's Web Radio. Thank you for tuning in. This is the On Point with Victor show. I am Victor Armendariz, and thanks so much for tuning in today. And listen, folks, make sure you visit americaswebradio.com. Make sure you download the app, America's Web Radio, because the app is the easiest way to listen. If you have an iPhone, you can go to the podcast icon. The On Point with Victor show is on the podcast and available in podcast form. But make sure you visit America's Web Radio. We really appreciate your listening, and we've got some really cool shows, and we've got some new things coming up, including the sayings. We're asking you, if you go to our website, americaswebradio.com, there is and David, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a form there where people can fill out and give their family sayings.
You go to our website, and you scroll down just a little bit under the flag that's on our website, right at the top, and there'll be a bar there, and there'll be a tab called Idioms, and you just click on that, and it'll take you to a form where you can fill in your idiom. If you want to correspond with us, you can put your email address in. If you don't, you don't have to. We're just interested. We want to have some fun, and I don't know of a family one, mine included. My grandfather had some of the coolest sayings going, and so did my uncle that was a big-time rancher. And, I can remember everybody sitting around on Sunday afternoon after the family lunch and all this, and, well, we got to write down Howard's sayings, or we got to write down Tom's sayings, and before they die. And this was maybe 10, 15 years before either one of them died. Mm-hmm. And it still didn't get done.
Never got done.
But we're going to do it. Another thing I wanted to bring up right quick, Victor, is that I'm running a one-man campaign and a one-man radio station campaign. And that's to write a thank you note to our First Lady.
Oh, okay.
She has done a fantastic job of bringing dignity and class and elegance and many other things back to our White House again that we had lost over the years.
And she's done it in 5 languages.
And she's done it, yeah. And I think she's got 2 to spare.
And 2 to spare.
I just want to talk Texan to her personally. No. Anyway, she is, I think, one of the greatest assets that Trump has, and it's almost like a hidden asset. And for the media to even say a word about her other than being kind as kind can be is just stupid, because I think the lady is just beyond fantastic. Yeah. And we should, instead of the media giving her grief, I had a good friend, Mary Daniel, or I say a good friend, an acquaintance, Mary Daniel, went up to Washington to help with the decoration of our Christmas tree and our White House.
The People's Tree and the People's House.
Yes, and said that both the president and Melania were just the kindest, down-to-earth, just super, super decent people. And that, throughout their stay there, Melania would come out. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Can I do anything? Can I have somebody bring you anything? Do you need a set? Wow. just bending over backwards the whole time. And for the media to make fun of our First Lady in Levi's. I'd like to see those Porky Pigs in Levi's, you know.
Look, the media, the Democrats are all elitist, and they can make fun of Republicans. That seems to be the rule of the day right now.
Well, I think it comes back to the word I said on your last show, as a matter of fact, that I think all this impeachment garbage and everything else that they've tried to hang on Trump is all a matter, if you really look at it societally, is that they're jealous. They're pea-green jealous of what Trump has done, what, in spite of him, he's accomplished more than any of Pelosi or Nadler or
right.
any of those people could do. And that idiot
without Shift-headed Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's just jealousy at beyond words. So anyway, support our First Lady. Send her a thank you note and just say, you know, we are so proud of you and what you're doing, and you've brought dignity to our White House again.
Yep, I love it, David. So if you're out there, definitely, like I said, check out our website, americaswebradio.com. And look, folks, I know a lot of you are off today, so if you're listening to the show, you can actually interact with me right now if you go to Facebook, America's Web Radio's Facebook page, and you can watch the show live, and you can interact with me, so you can ask me questions. And I know there are some Democrats listening out there, because I do have Democrat friends, and if you're out there, interact with me. You can send me your question if you want to somehow, convince me that reversing course right now, throwing out Trump and bringing in any one of your candidates, convince me how they're going to do what Donald Trump is doing with the economy right now. You can go online and, like I said, Facebook, the America's Web Radio page, and you can watch live right now.
Or YouTube.
Or YouTube. That's right. Thank you, David. So if you go to YouTube, we do have a YouTube channel. And please, if you go to YouTube, please make sure you subscribe. But you can watch also on YouTube right now. So I'm live on YouTube right now. We're live on Facebook right now. And we're live over the airwaves on americaswebradio.com. So, all right, I want to get into this. We're going to have to go to a break here in a second. But what I want to do when we come back is get into the topic rundown. I have probably the best news that you're going to want to use this Christmas when you're with your family. So you hang tight. This is On Point with Victor. We'll be right back.
Want to give your family or loved one the perfect gift? Then go online and check out the TornadoBodyDryer.com. I love mine and the warm heat air massage it gives me after my shower. The Tornado Body Dryer is super. You'll love it, and you'll love having one in your shower. Okay, folks, let's have some fun on America's Web Radio. We love idioms, and we want yours. So send it in, go into our homepage, look under the flag at the banner, and click on idioms, and send us your idiom today. Thanks.
If your health insurance premium is more than your mortgage, Ellen Deal with Ideal Solutions is here to help. Whether you're a small business owner, individual family, or baby boomer, email MAGA45CAG@gmail.com and I'll respond with 3 easy questions to help you determine if you can get away from Obamacare. As a 20-year veteran of the insurance industry, I'm here to help with all your insurance needs. Email Ellen Deal at MAGA45CAG@gmail.com.
Happy holidays. I'm Patty Levan, owner of Multiline Mortgage Services, Inc. Call us for details about our conventional loans with as little as 3% down, or talk to us about our FHA, VA, and USDA loan options. We answer your questions with honesty and integrity, because that's how we roll. Multiline Mortgage Services, your way home. Call us at 941-201-9111 or check out our website at multilinemortgage.com. Company founded by Joseph D. Powers, NMLS 158989, licensed Georgia and Florida.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And we're back, folks. This is On Point with Victor Armendariz. Okay, so I need breaking news music. Breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, we just got word from... Boy, let's see. Let me see if I can trace this. So one of the janitors in the White House who knew one of the cooks who had a cousin that went to school with Barron, who had a grandfather, who had another father, and it's just, we've got at least 10 to 12 to 15 line here of hearsay. So undeniable hearsay, breaking news that we may be on the precipice of Adam Schiff filing more articles of impeachment. It's unbelievable, folks. But apparently they've got word from, I think, Rudolph that a phone call was made or something. It's such a sham. From maybe all the way from the North Pole. So, all right, you know what, folks? We'll get into that a little bit later. Just a little impeachment update. But that's basically what's going on. Pelosi and Schiff now are leaking out that they may be holding back the articles of impeachment, not taking them to the Senate because they have more articles they want to introduce. So the sham is just becoming a bigger sham. The circus is becoming a bigger circus. So anyway, I do want to get on. So when we went to break, I was telling you there really is. Now this is amazing news. This is real breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, this past Saturday, we hit a new economic record. Pull yourselves in closer and listen to this, because these are facts. This is what good policy does. We hit the country, the United States, we the people, hit a single day sales record in the United States on Saturday. $34.4 billion in purchasing. That means, for those of you who are stuck on the Socialist Democrat train, that means the American people on Saturday alone spent $34.4 billion Christmas shopping, or some sort of shopping. Maybe it was Hanukkah shopping. Maybe it was Diwali shopping. It could have been Kwanzaa shopping. I'm equal opportunity here at America's Web Radio. The point is, no matter the reason, the American people are doing so well right now and have disposable income that Saturday was a single day record, and I mean first time in the history of the United States, we had a single day of $34.4 billion in sales. Now, folks, these are just the sales that are recorded in some of the big box stores and medium-sized stores that have to report sales taxes. This doesn't include, John Smith, who's selling something on Facebook Marketplace, or Joe Blow over there selling stuff on Craigslist, even if Craigslist even does that anymore. Think about that. $34.4 billion. And if you don't believe me, look it up. This is according to Customer Growth Partners. Look up Customer Growth Partners organization. They do this kind of calculation, and they follow this kind of stuff. So Saturday, huge. That is a huge record, an amazing record. Now let me tell you this. Let me put this in perspective for you. Obama didn't have a darn thing to do with that. The Democrats had zero to do, other than the Democrat voter out there that's spending money because they have it now. They participated. But when we talk politicians, your Democrat Party cannot take any credit for this, because they don't have any hands on the policies that have brought forth this economy. Now, if you're sitting out there and you're looking at me, or you're listening to me, and you're a Democrat and you're going, "Oh, what are you talking about, Victor? Yeah, blah 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 blah." Look, for 3 years now, we have had President Trump, And when he passed the tax cut and when he's doing regulation cutting, no Democrat voted for it. Not one Democrat is on record voting for the tax cuts or any of the other pro-economic measures. In fact, the Democrats were trying to get in the way. The Democrats were trying to block this. And this is not hyperbole. Look it up. The Democrats do not have a hand in any of the policies of the past 3 years that are behind this economic boom. And don't try and tell me that, Obama started this. Look, we had 8 years. The Obama administration with Quid Pro Joe had 8 years and couldn't get a year of growth over 1.5. Let me correct that. They couldn't get a yearly average of 1.5% growth of the GDP. Obama never had a raging economy. Obama had a stagnant economy. And don't give me this mess that he inherited something. For 8 years, we had to listen to Obama blame George Bush. 8 years we listened to Obama blame the Bush administration. And now I'm supposed to believe that the Obama administration can take credit for the Trump administration? It doesn't work that way, ladies and gentlemen. And it's so easy for me to dispel this notion that the liberals try and convince you of, the socialist Democrats, when they try and tell you that, well, Obama started this mess. No. Because when you have 8 years of stagnation, which is what the Obama-Biden economy was, it was stagnant. When you have that kind of economy, and a new president comes in, a new administration comes in, and is the antithesis to the previous administration. So let me explain that. The Obama administration had 8 years of raising taxes, taking over healthcare, trying to take over every other industry that they could get away with. They were trying to grow government, and they did. They successfully grew government by leaps and bounds, and unfortunately with the help of establishment Republicans. But they took over healthcare. That's, my goodness, what is that? 1/3 of the economy right there. They want to tell you how to live. So they were constantly after your freedoms and constantly trying to expand the federal government. And at the same time, putting regulation after regulation after regulation after regulation on small business, on big business. They did everything they were doing was slowing down the economy. It is a fact. You can look it up. And then here comes President Trump. Here comes a guy from the business world who gets in the office, who, let me remind you, Donald J. Trump was a Democrat a lot longer than he was a Republican. Donald J. Trump was friends with all the elites. He was friends with Hillary and Bill. He went to their wedding. Hillary fawned over Trump back then. He had to play the game because Democrats controlled New York, and that's where he did business. But he's a businessman, and he was smart enough to get into the office and go, hey, we've had 8 years of stagnation before me. Now we got to pull ourselves out. So if for 8 years we rose taxes, we had the government taking over industry, and we had a blowing up of regulation expansion, then maybe I should do the opposite. So what does President Trump do? He immediately started cutting regulation. He immediately rolled back Obama executive fiats. He immediately rolled back regulations. He did everything opposite of the Obama administration. So think about that. We're going to go to break, but that is what's happening right now. So we will be right back. This is America's Web Radio, On Point with Victor.
Merry Christmas. I'm Patty Levan, owner of Multiland Mortgage Services, Inc. We've partnered with nationally known wholesale lenders throughout the country that offer a wide variety of home loan programs. We can find the right home loan that will suit your financial needs. Multiland Mortgage Services, your way home. Call us at 941-201-9111 or check out our website at multilandmortgage.com. Company founded by Joseph D. Powers, NMLS 158989, licensed in Georgia and Florida.
Good morning. My name is Mike Mizell. I'm a retired Army colonel and president of the Johns Creek Veterans Association. We meet in Newtown Park, and part of one of our projects is the installation of the Healing Wall, the half-scale model of the Vietnam Wall that traveled the United States. Well, it's coming to rest, and it's going to live in Johns Creek forever, the half-scale model. We're looking at possibly a March implementation ribbon cutting ceremony, and we're looking for donors and sponsors that want to help us in this great project. You can donate at jcvets.org.
Want to give your family or loved one the perfect gift? Then go online and check out the TornadoBodyDryer.com. I love mine and the warm heat air massage it gives me after my shower. The Tornado Body Dryer is super. You'll love it, and you'll love having one in your shower. Okay, folks, let's have some fun on America's Web Radio. We love idioms, and we want yours. So send it in, go into our homepage, look under the flag at the banner, and click on idioms, and send us your idiom today. Thanks.
And we're back on point with Victor Armendariz.
Hey, you're getting pretty good at that, David. You got that Texas roll.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I wanted to talk about, I forgot what we were going to talk about.
We were going to talk about the idioms real quick. We were going to, and that's idioms, not idiots. So send us your idioms.
We're not going to talk about Pelosi.
I do not want Pelosi.
Chef.
I don't want Pelosi coming knocking on the studio doors.
I'm just waiting for that lady's face to pop. You know, it's going to be so messy.
You know, I try to be nice all the time, but if she stretches that face anymore, I mean, come on, enough is enough.
And if Schiff stretches the truth anymore,
God
knows what's going to happen.
Schiff is beyond stretching truth. That guy wouldn't know the truth if it slapped him in the face.
Nope, he wouldn't. But he knows he's only got a one-word vocabulary. Impeach.
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 He's going to start sounding like, oh my gosh, have you heard Barbara Walters? Oh my gosh, not Barbara Walters, Maxine Waters.
Oh.
You know, if you go back, and folks, last week I talked about this on the show, and if you remember, David, we were talking about how far back you can go. You know, they were talking about impeachment as soon as Donald Trump came down the escalator.
Yeah.
But they were really, even in April of 2016, you can see where they were formulating how they were going to reach impeachment. And they were even talked about timing. But Maxine Waters was out there, and let me see if I can do my Maxine Waters. This is what she would say. I'm going to impeach. I'm going to impeach. That is what she said on almost a daily basis, everywhere she went. And look, that's what she said. I'm not putting words in her mouth, and I'm just trying to do my best to sound like her. And now you've got them all. You've got Adam Schiff and Bernie Sanders. I mean, what can I say about Socialist Sanders? I mean, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit.
I'd start when you were talking a minute ago. I wanted to jump in and say, I was taught when I was in grade school and junior high school that socialism is one step before communism. Mm-hmm. And it is. Socialism is communism without guns, without weapons, and communism is socialism with weapons.
With weapons.
To keep the people in line.
Yeah.
Because the people finally say, hey, wait a second, this sucks. I don't want any part of this anymore. The government can't run my life. I'm going to rebel. Hello, what's happening?
Venezuela.
In Venezuela, also in
just about
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, yeah. Look at there's a reason, and we've talked about this before, and those of you who've listened to me, you've heard me talk about this. There is a reason that every socialist country, every communist country goes after the guns. They go after education first, and they go after guns next. Because by the time you realize that utopia isn't utopia for you, utopia is for the elitist, but not for you. Utopia is for the socialist leaders, not for you. Utopia is for the communist leaders, not for you. So by the time you figure that out, it's too late. They've confiscated your weapons and you can't fight back. Your pitchfork and your rocks are only going to go so far. Ask the Palestinians. So and if those of you out there who are going, why is he mentioning that? Because I've heard mention that a few times. There's a joke that goes around in the military. Not just the military, but David, you may have heard this, but with the military and then just active people who are up on the Middle East situation, that the Palestinians, when they go buy a box of ammo and you open the box, it's a collection of rocks, and so they're usually trying to throw rocks in, which begs you to ask sometimes is why on earth would they continue to attack and try and attack people out there in the Middle East. But
I've only heard of one guy that did well with a rock.
I know what you're talking about. And what a great day to mention that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact. But a little bitty guy named David up against a big-ass guy named
Goliath. Absolutely. And, I love the story of David because, as you know, the legend Dave here, as he knows, I stand all of 5'3", and that's if I'm wearing the right shoes. So I feel like I can relate sometimes to David, especially when the Democrats and liberals start really harassing me and calling me names. It's quite funny. So sometimes I feel like I get inspired by the story of David.
That's right, and he did. In many ways, obviously, and Trump's a big boy, but Trump has taken on Goliath, and he has overpowered him. And this I think is what drives him crazy. Is it looks like he's going to throw a pass and he does an end run. Looks like he's going to do an end run and he throws a pass, and they can't figure out anybody that calls Trump dumb as stupid as that rock.
Well, they do it at their own peril.
Yeah.
I hope they continue to underestimate him because you're right, David. You're absolutely right. And David, it's funny. And folks, David is absolutely right. You look at the swamp that is Washington. It's full of bureaucrats. It's full of socialist Democrats. It's full of establishment Republicans. They're all against Trump. Trump is one man standing in their way. And so the Washington swamp is Goliath. And my goodness, Trump may stand 6 feet plus, but compare him to that Goliath that is Washington, he might as well be shorter than me. I mean, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But it really is amazing, and I just got through telling you guys of the record that we just broke, $34.4 billion on Saturday in spending and shopping and sales. We haven't had that, folks. If you go around, I was out yesterday. I was in 2 different malls yesterday, and they were slam packed. And I was on the escalator, and there was a couple behind me. They were both on break at some different stores in the mall, and both of them. Now, they did not know who I was, and I didn't prompt any of this. They were behind me. I just overheard them talking. Both of them said, "It is Monday, and we cannot believe how busy we are." And the lady with him, she goes, well, it's Christmas time. It should be busy. And the other guy who's the worker in the mall said, yes, it is Christmas time, but I haven't seen this like this in a while. This was Saturday shopping. He goes, Saturdays are usually before Christmas are crazy, but what I'm seeing here today, I just can't believe. So it was all I could do to hold back from turning around and saying, it's a Trump economy. What do you attribute it to? I wanted to engage them, but I thought, what? It's Christmas time. I'm not going to engage. Just let them enjoy the great economy. But it was neat to hear them point out how great this economy was and how great it's doing, because they did put 2 and 2 together. Now, I didn't ask them who they were giving credit to. Like, again, I wasn't going to butt into their conversation, but it was neat to hear them talk about the hustle, the bustle, how many people were out this season. And folks, if you were out in the malls and the stores, you could see it, you could feel it. I haven't seen this in quite a while.
And I bet you could smell it too.
You could smell it too, because they were going through food and cookies so fast. They had actually, The pretzel place and the cookie place are two of my favorite places in the mall, along with mall Japanese. But it really is, what's happening right now is nothing short of an economic renaissance. Folks, this is why I tell you, you've got to be able to divorce the letter D. If you don't, and that goes for establishment Republicans too, and the never Trumpers, if you may be sitting on your elitist butt in Washington or somewhere else, whether you're a never Trumper, you're a socialist Democrat, you're a power-hungry bureaucrat, you're a power-hungry Democrat, you're a power-hungry establishment Republican, you may be okay to sit through a recession. You may be fine when everyday American people in the middle class and in the lower class, wherever class they're in, when they're struggling, you may be okay. And you may be okay with it, but I'm not. I am not okay with people struggling in this country, because we're the greatest country on the planet. And we have the ability to really, really, really produce and grow an economy to where if you want to engage in economic activity, you can. If you want to achieve greatness, you can. If you want to achieve that milestone that you've set for yourself, you can. In this country, you can find a way to find something you love and make money at it. You can make a living when the government gets out of your way. I want everyone to succeed. Even if you're stuck on the letter D, I want you to succeed. But what you've got to understand, if you're married to the letter D, then you have to look at what's happening right now and say you are willing to put good people into peril. You're willing to put good people on the unemployment line. You're willing to put good people on food stamps. Folks, for the last 3 years, especially the last year and a half, 2 years, there have been more people coming off the food stamp rolls that have been going on. Obama could not say that. The Obama administration was adding more people to food stamps and at a record rate than we have seen in this country through the Obama administration through 8 years. Now we are seeing the opposite. We are seeing more people come off the unemployment rolls. And I mean, coming off unemployment, coming off food stamps. Folks, it was pointed out to me by an astute listener the other day that one of the amazing things that we're finding out right now, people who are coming off food stamps, they're not mad about it. If you listen to a liberal, you listen to a Democrat,
would be proud about it.
Exactly. If you're listening to a Democrat, if you're listening to Socialist Sanders or any of these other candidates, if you listen to them, they will tell you that someone who's coming off of food stamps, they're angry, they're mad, they want to go back on food stamps. But what we're finding out is there are people that are coming off that are proud to be off. They have the sense of accomplishment again. They're actually producing sweat equity and getting a return for that sweat equity.
And by the way, just to interrupt, as an economist, my degree's in economy, them coming off, that means they're putting money back into the system and paying taxes.
Absolutely.
And, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to understand how this all works.
You know, the establishment in Washington, the swamp, Democrats, establishment Republicans, they always love to talk about the tax base. So when we come back from this next break, and it'll be quick, when we come back, I'm going to explain the best way I can how the economic pie works. And I'm going to do it in as simple layman terms as I can. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. This is America's Web Radio, On Point with Victor.
And before we leave, I just want to point out we've already gotten in several idioms, and we appreciate those and appreciate you all playing and having fun on America's Web Radio with our idioms and sayings. And we're going to be using some of them and publishing some of them. So if you got that family idiom, and or tell your friends about it. Send them in to America's Web Radio. Go to the form and just fill it out and send those suckers in. We'll be back right after this.
Merry Christmas. I'm Patty Levan, owner of Multiline Mortgage Services, Inc. We've partnered with nationally known wholesale lenders throughout the country that offer a wide variety of home loan programs. We can find the right home loan that will suit your financial needs. Multi-Line Mortgage Services, your way home. Call us at 941-201-9111 or check out our website at multilinemortgage.com. Company founded by Joseph D. Powers, NMLS 158989, licensed in Georgia and Florida.
Okay, folks, let's have some fun on America's Web Radio. We love idioms, and we want yours. So send it in, go into our homepage, look under the flag at the banner, and click on idioms, and send us your idiom today. Thanks. Want to give your family or loved one the perfect gift? Then go online and check out the TornadoBodyDryer.com. I love mine and the warm heat air massage it gives me after my shower. The Tornado Body Dryer is super. You'll love it, and you'll love having one in your shower.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, thank you. Oh, the sweet music of Pointless tells you that you're listening to America's Web Radio. And, the drummer of Pointless is out there listening today, and I'll go ahead and say hello to him. And maybe a future guitarist of a reunion of Pointless. He might be listening today. Some of you know him as Engineer Dave. Oh, I probably let that cat out of the bag and shouldn't have let it out of the bag. But hopefully they're all still listening right now. Okay, so when we went to the break, talking about this economic pie, let me put this in the best way I can put it, the different on how a Democrat and socialist looks at the economic pie and how a conservative or a Freedom Caucus Republican looks at the economic pie, how a freedom-loving libertarian looks at the economic pie. So let's think of the economy as that fresh apple pie that you're going to dig into this weekend. So you can take that fresh apple pie, or this, tomorrow maybe, or Thursday. You can take that fresh apple pie, and you can look at it and go, okay, in this fresh apple pie, this circle, this circumference encompasses the American economy. All the people in America were all within this nice apple pie. And let's say your apple pie is let's just say it's a 12-inch round pie. You can look at this in the eyes of a Democrat or a socialist Democrat, and you're going to go, okay, I have to slice this pie up for all the American people and all the illegals and all. All right, sorry, I couldn't help myself. So we got to slice this pie up for all the Americans. So the Democrat is going to go, and the socialist and Bernie Sanders, socialist Sanders, I'm going to get my knife. I'm going to make it real sharp, because we gotta have enough cuts for health care. So, all right, look. So the Democrat's going to take their knife and they're going to sharpen it really, really nice. You can't have a sharp knife, but the elitist Democrats can. And they're going to start slicing the pie. And they're going to slice it and slice it and slice it and slice it. And they're going to go, wait a minute. This group of black victims over here, and this group of Hispanic victims, and this group of women victims, and this group of gay victims, and this group of who knows what victims. We got to have this slice for them, but we put more people on that in that group, so we got to slice it a little thinner and slice it a little thinner. Oh, this group's going to get mad, so we got to slice it a little thinner. And there's that group over there of white people or white old men. Well, we got to take some of that slice away, so we're going to give more of that slice. Let's give them a little less, and we'll take some of that, and we're going to distribute this somehow. We got to slice it a little thinner. We got to slice it thinner because we got to be able to give some of that slice to all the other groups. Then the group of billionaires over here, you know what? They can afford to give away some more of their slice. We got to slice it thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. And then, wait, you know what? Even though we're slicing this thinner from this group over here that we hate, they're too smart and they're getting around us somehow, or they're in bed with us, the elitist, and we're really letting them get away with some things. So we got to accommodate for that. So we've got to slice it even thinner and thinner. Not one time do they look at the pie, ladies and gentlemen, and figure out how to expand it. They just want to slice, 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 slice. Well, along comes Mr. Conservative. Along comes Mr. Freedom-loving, constitutional American. We look at the pie and we go, boy, we are so innovative. The American spirit is alive and well. The American spirit lives in everyone. That spirit to succeed, that's in everybody. It's inherently, it is God's gift to every person in this country to want to succeed somehow, to have that drive. It's in there. It's in there. We just gotta, some people we might have to help it a little bit, but it's in there. And the ingenuity of Americans is amazing. So, because look at what they've done to get this 12-inch pie. So we as conservatives or freedom-loving Americans, a freedom-loving constitutional libertarian like myself, we look at the pie and go, we the people, we are going to make this better for as many people as we can get in here. And we're going to expand it for the people that are going to come, because we have future generations that we have to leave this good pie to. So we don't need to sharpen the knife and slice it thinner. We've got to expand it. The 12-inch pie's got to come the 14-inch pie. The 14-inch pie's got to be 16-inch pie. The 16's got to be 18. And by golly, if we are innovative enough and smart enough, and we have the awesome ingenuity of the American people to get to 18-inch pie, we can get to 20-inch pie. We can get, and on and on and on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're expanding that awesome, awesome pie so that everyone has the ability to take advantage of a slice of that pie. And that slice can get bigger and bigger instead of smaller and smaller. I don't have to take a piece of your pie to make my pie bigger, because we're going to expand the pie together. And you're going to get a bigger piece, and you're going to get a bigger piece, and you're going to get a bigger piece. And I sound like Oprah. But you get my point. We as constitutional loving Americans, we who believe in freedom and liberty, we who believe in the policy of freedom and liberty, we conservatives, call it whatever you want to call us, we believe in everyone having the chance to expand their own pie. You don't have to take from someone else. You don't have to look, never in the history of this country have you been able to make one person more poor to make another person rich, and to have that spread and be an economic success, because it will all lead to everyone being poor. So what we need to strive for is what's happening now, expanding the pie. Ladies and gentlemen, Saturday's record of $34.4 billion in record sales across the country, those sales did not see color. Those sales didn't care if it were black, Hispanic. It didn't care if you were Asian. It didn't care if you were Hindu. It didn't care if you were Muslim or Jewish. The economy doesn't see color. The only people who see color and victims are politicians. The only people who aid in convincing you that you can't achieve something are politicians and bureaucrats. So please, over the next few days, ask yourself, why on earth would you give this much power to a bureaucrat? Why on earth would you give power of your individuality to a bureaucrat in Washington? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're married to the letter D and you're trying to figure out to vote for fake Indian Warren or Socialist Sanders or I'm poor Buttigieg or quid pro Joe Biden, if you are, or crooked Hillary, if you are trying to decide on which one of those to vote for, let me remind you this. Bernie Sanders is a billionaire. Or multimillionaire at the very least. Bernie Sanders has never worked in the private sector in his life. He got rich off of taxpayers. Joe Biden is a multi-millionaire, if not billionaire. This is a man who funneled money, including from Ukraine, through his son. And if you don't think some of that money got back to Joe Biden and his campaign, then you are kidding yourself. Elizabeth Warren is a millionaire, if not on the cusp of being a billionaire. She is a multi-millionaire. These people cannot relate to you. The hilarious thing the other day in that debate was fake Indian Warren going after Buttigieg and saying that you're elitist. You can't relate to the hardworking middle class or lower class or the poor. You can't relate to them because you had a $900 wine party for fundraising. Well, Buttigieg, I got to hand it to this guy, and I've told you folks, do not look past Buttigieg. He's going to be a force. But he had the wherewithal to look at her and go, if I didn't go to the Democrat elitist millionaires to raise money, I wouldn't be on this stage in this debate. And then he astutely pointed out to Elizabeth Warren and the few viewers that were watching, the only man that was on that stage that is not a multimillionaire is Pete Buttigieg. Elizabeth Warren has 10 times the wealth of Buttigieg. So she is such an elitist and is so out of touch with people. It is laughable for fake Indian Warren to try and tell you and convince you that they care about you or they know your plight. Elizabeth Warren never feels a recession, folks. The government never feels a recession. North Virginia and D.C. never feels a recession. They have your tax money. They have the national debt to increase. They can print money. None of them are going to feel your pain, no matter how much they tell you they're going to. So understand when I talk about this pie that we're expanding right now, Donald J. Trump does not get up every morning and go, how can I make this person a victim? How can I put this person in this victim group? He doesn't do that. Donald Trump looks at this great country and says, we are an economic force. We, unlike anyone else in the world, on the basis of freedom and liberty, can grow the economic pie beyond anyone's imagination. And by doing that, we create real wealth. Individuals create wealth, ladies and gentlemen. Politicians are getting rich from tax dollars, and the only people who pay taxes in this country are individuals. If you are if you're at a Democrat town hall and they start talking about corporate taxes, please stand up and question them, because there's no such thing as a corporation paying taxes. If you raise the taxes on a corporation, they are going to pass it along to the end consumer, which is you and me and we, the people. The only people who pay taxes in this country are individuals. So if we don't continue to expand the pie, such as the policies of Donald Trump, then we get stuck in a pie that isn't growing. We're just trying to slice it and dice it. And folks, there's not enough. You cannot sharpen a knife enough to make enough slices for everyone to be able to provide for themselves. But you know what, folks? That is the goal of the socialism. That is the goal of the Democrats. That is the goal of establishment Republicans. Because the more of you that they put on dependency on them, or they create, the more people that they make dependent on them, the more Americans that are dependent on Washington, the more Americans that are dependent on D.C. bureaucrats, that means less individual power for you. If you are dependent on the government, by golly, they're going to determine how much you're making. They're going to determine your success. And folks, believe me, we do not want to go down the road where we only have a few. You know, the Democrats love to rail about the 1%. Show me one of these freaking candidates that are not a member of the 1% club, with the exception of Buttigieg. And they've done it off the backs of the taxpayer. And if you think that the way to prosperity for you is to give up your freedom and give power to a politician, you are so sadly mistaken, and you need only look at history. All right, folks, we got to go to a break. I'm a little late, so we're going to the break. Oh, no, the show is over. Holy cow, folks, the show is over. Listen, have a great, great Merry Christmas. Enjoy this Christmas. Please be positive and stay strong. And tune in next week for more On Point with Victor.
Happy holidays. I'm Patty Levan, owner of Multiline Mortgage Services, Inc. Call us for details about our conventional loans with as little as 3% down, or talk to us about our FHA, VA, and USDA loan options. We answer your questions with honesty and integrity, because that's how we roll. Multiline Mortgage Services, your way home. Call us at